All right, let's talk about a really critical piece of any business's financial health: accounts payable matching. We're going to look at how automation can take this super important control, which is often a slow, manual chore, and turn it into a powerhouse for financial control. Okay, let's get into it.
So what is AP matching, really? At its heart, it's a validation step. It's all about comparing the paperwork to make absolutely sure the bill you're about to pay is for something you actually ordered and, something you actually received. Think of it as the financial gatekeeper that stops incorrect payments in their tracks. We're going to break this down into 3 simple parts. First, we'll dig into the big problems with the old school manual way of doing things. Then, we'll see how automation offers a really clean, effective solution. And finally, we'll talk about the real benefits you can actually see and feel. Let's start with the challenges, because they are significant. You see, in a manual AP world, this process is almost always a bottleneck. It's slow, it's risky, and honestly, it's just plain inefficient. This right here tells the whole story, doesn't it? It's just such a stark contrast. On one side, you've got the manual process. Picture someone literally hunting down purchase orders, finding receipts, and comparing them line by line with an invoice. It takes forever, it's so easy to make a mistake, and it just creates delays. But on the other side, you've got automation, which is basically the exact opposite. It's fast, it's accurate, and it gets your workflow moving smoothly. So where does all this pain actually come from? Well, you've got slow processing. Because, let's face it, people can only move so fast. There's a huge risk of someone misreading a number or just missing a tiny detail. And then you've got the classic delays. I mean, what happens when a PO is missing or the delivery receipt hasn't been filed yet? The whole process just grinds to a halt. Okay, so we've established the problem. Now let's talk about the solution: automating the entire matching process. The real magic of automation is how systematic it is. Instead of relying on a person's eyes, the software just digitally reads the documents. It automatically compares all the critical data fields, and it does this in a split second without ever getting distracted. And what's it looking for exactly? Well, it's checking all the important stuff. Does the quantity on the invoice match the PO? Is the price what you agreed on? Are the tax codes and item descriptions the same? It's doing this comprehensive check to make sure everything lines up perfectly. Now, the first level of this is what's called a two-way match. This is the most basic check. The system just looks at the supplier's invoice and compares it directly against the purchase order. Pretty simple question: did we order what they're billing us for? It's a really fundamental check. But for a lot of businesses, especially if you're dealing with physical goods, the 3-way match is really the gold standard. This adds a third, super critical document into the mix: the goods receipt. So now, the system confirms not only that we ordered it, but that it was actually delivered. This is huge for preventing payments for stuff that never even showed up. And here's the best part: the ideal outcome. When the PO, the invoice, and the receipt all line up just right, boom, the invoice is approved for payment automatically. No emails, no phone calls, nobody has to touch it. This is what's called touchless processing. Okay, that all sounds amazing in a perfect world, but we all know things get messy. So the big question is, what happens when things don't match? This is really where a smart, automated system shines. It doesn't just fail. Instead, it kicks off an exception workflow. The system instantly spots the mismatch, automatically sends it to the right person or department to look at, and then tracks it until the whole thing is resolved. Your AP team stops being detectives and starts being overseers. And these little issues can pop up in all sorts of ways. Maybe the supplier shipped and billed you for 12 items, but the PO is only for 10. Or maybe the price on the invoice is just higher than what was agreed upon. An automated system flags these specific problems so you can fix them fast. So, we've walked through the problem and the solution. Now let's wrap this up by focusing on the real-world impact, the tangible benefits you get when you bring this kind of automation into your accounts payable world. Just look at this chart. It visualizes the core value perfectly. The amount of manual effort just plummets when you bring in automation. This frees up your finance team to focus on way more strategic work instead of, mind-numbing data entry and comparison. And all that reduced effort leads straight to these key benefits. Your invoices get processed faster, which can help you grab early payment discounts. Compliance gets a lot stronger because the whole process is standardized and easy to audit. The risk of paying too much goes way, way down, and the entire workflow is just smoother.
Yeah, let's double-click on that point about compliance and risk for a second. By automating these checks, you're basically building a control system right into your process. It makes sure your company's payment policies are followed every single time, which cuts down on the risk of both accidental overpayments and even fraud.
At the end of the day, it really comes down to this. The goal here is to streamline the entire AP workflow. It's not just about making one task faster. It's about making your whole financial engine run more smoothly, more accurately, and just more efficiently. So, we'll leave you with this final thought to chew on. Take a hard look at your own operations. Is your current AP process a strong financial control that's actually saving you money? Or is it a manual bottleneck that's secretly creating costs through errors, delays, and wasted time? Something to think about. Thanks for watching The Explainer.